I'm Morgan, 31 years old, and 3 weeks ago, I sold my $350,000 condo to a developer, then vanished. 79 missed calls, 47 text messages, an email from my mother with the subject line, "What have you done?" in all caps. A 2 a.m. text from my sister, "Morgan, they're saying we have 30 days to move out. Where are the kids supposed to go?" I didn't answer, not because I'm heartless, but because I'd spent my entire life answering, explaining, accommodating, and it was never enough. Before I continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story truly resonates with you. Now, where are you listening from today? Drop your city and local time in the comments. I'd love to know who's here with me. Let me take you back 4 weeks to Christmas Eve dinner, when I stood in my parents' kitchen and heard something I'll never forget. Growing up in the Platt family, I learned early that love came with conditions. My father, Harold, worked 30 years at a manufacturing plant before early retirement. My mother, Diane, ran our household like a kingdom, where loyalty meant compliance and questioning meant betrayal. Then there was Kelsey, my younger sister by 3 years. The baby, the one who needed protecting. I was the odd one out, the kid who won a full scholarship to college while Kelsey dropped out after 2 semesters with $40,000 in student loans. The family narrative wrote itself. Morgan got lucky, Kelsey got life. What nobody mentioned was the 4 jobs I worked through school, the summer spent interning while my sister vacationed, the promotions I earned while she collected excuses. The phone calls started small: $20 for gas, $100 for an unexpected bill, $500 when Derek, Kelsey's husband, lost another job. I always sent the money. I never asked questions. I can't remember the last time my mother called, just to ask how I was doing. Every conversation ended the same way, a request wrapped in guilt. I was the family ATM. I just hadn't read the fine print yet. 3 years ago, I bought a condo in a developing neighborhood on Chicago's northwest side. 2 bedrooms, clean lines, a view of the city. I paid off the mortgage last November. 8 years of discipline, saving, saying no to vacations I couldn't afford. The day I made that final payment, I sat on my living room floor and cried. Not from sadness, from relief. From proof that I existed outside of what my family needed from me. My $280,000 investment was now worth $350,000. My mother noticed. "You live alone in all that space?" she'd say. "Kelsey's kids share a bedroom the size of your bathroom." Thanksgiving last year, she pulled me aside. "You know, sweetheart, if you ever wanted to help your sister get on her feet, that condo of yours could change her life." I laughed it off. Surely she was joking. She wasn't. The Christmas dinner invitation arrived in early December. "Family only," my mother wrote. "We have so much to celebrate." I should have known then. Celebrations in the Platt family always cost someone something. Christmas Eve smelled like roasted turkey and cinnamon candles. I arrived with gifts for everyone. Dinner was pleasant enough. My father told his same jokes. My mother fussed over portions. Normal, familiar, but I caught it. The glance between my mother and Kelsey when they thought I wasn't looking. The slight nod. They were waiting for something. After dinner, I offered to help with dishes. I filled the sink with soapy water, scrubbing plates while Christmas music drifted from the other room. Then the music stopped. Voices carried, low, conspiratorial. I turned off the faucet. "She leaves January 2nd for Seattle. 2 weeks." My mother's voice. "And Dad gets the spare key. Kelsey. He'll say he's watering her plants." Derek spoke next, eager. "We should move fast. January 3rd. Get in before she lands." My hands froze around a wet plate. "Change the locks first thing," Kelsey continued. "By the time she's back, we're settled." "What's she gonna do? Call the cops on her own sister?" My mother laughed softly. "Morgan won't do anything. She never does. She'll cry, she'll pout, and then she'll get over it. She always does. That place is wasted on her anyway." "Exactly," Kelsey agreed. "Single woman in a 2-bedroom while my kids sleep in a closet. Family takes care of family. She'll understand eventually." I stood frozen, dishwater cooling around my wrists. My heart pounded so loud I was certain they could hear it. I wanted to scream, to storm in and demand explanations. Instead, I picked up the next plate, washed it slowly, dried it, and placed it carefully in the cabinet. They thought they knew me. They were about to learn otherwise. I wiped my hands and walked back to the living room. My face betrayed nothing. Years of risk analysis had taught me one invaluable skill. Never show your hand until you've calculated every outcome. All done in there. I settled into the armchair near the tree. From the corner of my eye, I watched Kelsey studying me. Suspicious. I smiled at her. The turkey was delicious this year, Kels. Crisis averted, normal restored, but nothing was normal. Not anymore. I looked at them. These people I'd spent 31 years trying to please. They had always seen my kindness as weakness, my silence as permission. They were wrong. By the way, I said casually, I'm meeting with my lawyer next week. Just some paperwork. My mother barely glanced up. That's nice, dear. She had no idea what she just dismissed. Later, Kelsey found me on the back porch. So Seattle? How long again? 2 weeks? Must be nice. Business travel. Her voice carried an edge. I haven't been on a plane in 6 years. Your neighborhood's really changing, huh? I drove by last month. Anyone make you an offer? I turned to look at her. Really look. A few people have asked. I'm not interested in selling. Her jaw tightened. You should take care of your own rental first, I added lightly. Didn't you say the landlord's been difficult? We're handling it. I left at 9:30, hugging everyone goodbye. Drive safe, sweetheart, my mother said. And remember, leave that spare key for your father. Of course, Mom. The drive home took 40 minutes. Then I called Elena. Morgan, it's Christmas. Everything okay? They're planning to take my condo. I told her everything. Jesus Christ. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. You could confront them. Call the police when they try to move in. And then what? Watch them cry and apologize, then do it again the moment I turn my back. Elena was quiet. Then what about that Seattle promotion? The one HR's been asking about for 2 months. She was right. The offer had been sitting in my inbox since late October. Senior Risk Analyst, Pacific Northwest Division, permanent relocation. I've also been getting calls from developers. They want to buy the whole block, my unit included. Morgan, are you thinking what I think you're thinking? I've spent 31 years being the person they wanted me to be. Maybe it's time to figure out who I actually am. I typed a message to Marcus Webb, my real estate attorney. Marcus, I need to meet you on the 26th. It's urgent. The day after Christmas, I met Marcus in his downtown office. Your message sounded serious. I told him everything. The kitchen conversation, the plan to move in while I was gone, the spare key. Let me make sure I understand. They plan to squat in your condo and present it as a done deal when you return. Yes. Option 1, wait until they trespass, then call the police. But they'd claim you gave verbal permission. It becomes your word against theirs. Civil court, 3 to 6 months minimum. And I'd be the sister who called the cops on her family. Option 2, you sell. The new owner handles eviction. You're not the villain. You're just someone who sold their property. I stared out the window. If I sold to the developer buying the block, anyone living there would have to leave. Standard 30-day notice, non-negotiable with demolition permits. For the first time in days, I could breathe. Set up a meeting. Robert Smith was a pragmatic man with steel-gray eyes. We met 2 days later. Miss Platt, I'm prepared to offer 18% above market value. Cash closing in 10 business days. The number made my breath catch. Why the rush? My construction loan locks in on the 15th. I need all units by then. What about current occupants? Standard 30-day notice to vacate after closing. Demolition permits don't allow exceptions. I met his gaze. If I sell to you, I'm not the one evicting anyone. You are. That's correct. So I'm just a property owner who sold to a developer. Nothing more. Robert's expression didn't change. That's exactly what you'd be. One more question. Has anyone else contacted you about my unit? He paused. About 2 months ago, a woman claiming to represent her sister. I declined. We don't work through unauthorized parties. 2 months. Kelsey had been circling my home like a shark while I was still writing her checks. I'll need until January 7th to decide. After that, the offer expires. 7 days. More than enough time to be certain. I want to pause here for a moment. If you've ever been in a relationship where someone treated you like a resource instead of a person, where family meant obligation without respect, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And tell me, what do you think I should have done? A, confront my family directly, or B, continue with my quiet plan? Drop your answer below. I'm genuinely curious. Now let me tell you what happened next. New Year's Eve. My Uncle Richard's house. About 15 relatives crowded into the split level. I arrived alone, bearing wine I had no intention of drinking. Kelsey and Derek were already there, working the room like politicians. They radiated the particular energy of people who believed their ship had finally come in. Such exciting news, Kelsey was saying to Aunt Patricia. We're moving to a new place in January. The kids will finally have their own rooms. Oh, how wonderful. Did you buy? Kelsey hesitated half a second. It's a family arrangement. Morgan's place, actually. My mother materialized beside them. Morgan's always been generous. Anything for family. Aunt Patricia spotted me. Morgan, that's so sweet of you to share your home. Every head turned. My mother's eyes carried a warning. Don't make a scene. Kelsey's expression dared me to contradict her. I felt the weight of their expectation. Instead, I smiled. Family helps family. That's what the Platts do, right? They thought they'd won. Aunt Patricia cornered me later. Your mother told me everything. You're such a good sister. I'm not giving it up. It's more of a transition. Your mother said you agreed to this weeks ago. Said it was your idea even. There it was. The lie spreading like wildfire. Midnight approached. I sat alone in my condo, laptop open, the city glittering beneath my windows. 2 emails waited. The first, Marcus's final paperwork. Robert Smith's offer. 10 days to closing. The second, HR's confirmation of the Seattle transfer. Start date January 20th. I'd been afraid to accept either for months. Afraid of what leaving meant. Afraid of being selfish. But what was I holding on to? In their minds, this place had never been mine. It was always just something I was keeping warm until they decided to claim it. I opened the HR email first, typed my acceptance, hit send. Then I opened Marcus's document. The clock struck midnight. Outside, fireworks exploded across the sky. I signed, not because I wanted revenge, not because I hated them, because I finally loved myself enough to stop sacrificing my future for people who only saw me as a resource. I'm not selling because of them, I whispered. I'm selling because I'm finally ready to leave. Happy New Year. This one would be different. January 2nd, O'Hare Airport. Before takeoff, I called my father. You have the spare key, right? Got it yesterday. Just water the plants, feed Blueberry. I almost asked if he knew what they were planning, but I already knew the answer. Harold Platt had spent 58 years avoiding confrontation. He wasn't going to start now. On January 3rd, my phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. Kelsey had posted a story. My living room, my couch, my view. Boxes stacked in the corner. The caption, new chapter, new home, blessed. More photos followed. Derek installing a new lock on my front door. Lily's drawings taped to my refrigerator. They were making themselves at home. They had no idea they were decorating a demolition site. January 10th, Seattle. My phone buzzed. Marcus Webb. It's done. Closing complete. Funds transferred. And the notification timeline? Robert's team will post the demolition notice within 7 to 10 days. Standard 30-day vacate period after that. Thank you, Marcus. Are you sure about this? Once that notice goes up, there's no taking it back. I thought about Kelsey's Instagram stories. About my mother's confident assurance that I would get over it. I'm sure. January 18th. I was in a meeting when my phone started vibrating. By lunch, I had 17 missed calls. The first voicemail was from my mother. Morgan Elizabeth Platt. You call me back right now. What have you done? The second was Kelsey, shrill with panic. There are people here with papers. They're saying we have to leave in 30 days. Morgan. This has to be a mistake. The third was Derek. You can't just sell a place with people living in it. We're calling a lawyer. I scrolled through texts that ranged from confused to furious to desperate. Kelsey, call me now. Mom, how could you do this to your sister? Derek, you'll be hearing from our attorney. Mom, your father is having chest pains. Kelsey, 30 days, Morgan. Where are we supposed to go? I read each message carefully. Not one of them said sorry. Not one acknowledged they'd tried to steal my home. Not one asked if I was okay. They weren't angry. They'd been caught. They were angry I hadn't let them win. My phone rang again. Kelsey. I watched her name flash until it went to voicemail. Then I turned off my phone entirely. Let me pause here. If you're still with me, if this story is hitting close to home, take a breath. Get some water. I know this part is intense. And if you're enjoying this, hit that like button. Now I have a question. What do you think happens next? Will my family apologize, or will they double down? Tell me your prediction in the comments. Here's how it actually played out. Over the next 48 hours, my phone became a weapon. 79 missed calls, 47 texts, 12 voicemails, 4 emails. The messages followed a predictable pattern. Stage 1, confusion. There must be a mistake. Stage 2, anger. How dare you do this to your own family? Stage 3, guilt. Mom hasn't stopped crying. Dad's blood pressure is through the roof. Stage 4, threats. Derek's cousin is a lawyer. Stage 5, bargaining. Just call us. We can work this out. What none of them said, we're sorry. What none of them admitted, we were wrong. Kelsey's messages were most revealing. You knew we were moving in and you sold it anyway. Not, I'm sorry we tried to steal from you. I saved every message. Then I closed the folder and went for a walk along the Seattle waterfront. I had never felt so invisible. I had never felt so free. On January 21st, I broke my silence. One email to my mother, father, Kelsey, and Derek. I have sold my condominium, a property I purchased with my own money and owned solely in my name. This was entirely within my legal rights. I am aware that some of you moved into the property without my knowledge or consent. The new owners have issued a standard 30-day notice to vacate. I will not be discussing this matter further. This is my final communication on this subject. Morgan, I didn't explain. I didn't accuse. I simply stated facts and closed the door. The responses came quickly. From Kelsey, that's it? That's all you have to say? From Derek, this isn't over. From my mother, I don't know who you are anymore. The daughter I raised would never be so cruel. My mother's words should have hurt, but something had shifted. The daughter she raised would have apologized, would have cried, would have made everyone comfortable while shrinking herself into nothing. That daughter didn't exist anymore. The family grapevine worked fast. Within a week, I'd received messages from 3 aunts, 2 uncles, and a cousin. The narrative had crystallized. Morgan sold her house out of spite, while her poor sister's family was living there. No mention of the scheme hatched over Christmas dinner. No acknowledgement they'd moved in without permission. Aunt Patricia called twice. Your mother is devastated. I think you owe her an apology. Family is family, after all. I deleted the message. Some relatives simply stopped speaking to me. I was being erased from the family story, but not everyone followed the script. A text arrived from Great Aunt Dorothy, 83 years old. Morgan, I don't know the whole story, and I won't ask, but I've watched you take care of that family for years while they took from you. Whatever happened, I trust you had your reasons. I'm proud of you. I read the message 3 times. Then I cried. Not from sadness, but from the overwhelming relief of being seen. Thank you, Aunt Dorothy. That means more than you know. Her reply came immediately. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Stay strong, sweetheart. The 30-day deadline arrived on February 17th. Kelsey and Derek had nowhere to go. Derek's parents declined to help. Friends suddenly remembered prior commitments. In the end, they moved into my parents' house. 3 bedrooms, 6 people. My mother's carefully controlled kingdom overrun with toy trucks, sippy cups, and a son-in-law she'd always secretly despised. Diane's losing her mind, Elena reported. Apparently she didn't realize helping Kelsey meant living with Kelsey. I felt a twist of something in my chest. Guilt, maybe. Or its ghost. They made their choices, Elena added gently. You're not responsible for the consequences. I know. Do you, though? I was quiet. I'm working on it. A week later, Kelsey posted on social media, sometimes the people you trust the most let you down the hardest, but we're survivors. The comments were full of sympathy. I was the villain of her story now. The same day, I received a message from my father. I'm sorry. Just 2 words. No explanation, no context. Was he sorry for what he'd done? For what he'd allowed? For the family I'd lost? I saved the message, but I didn't reply. Spring arrived in Seattle, like a whispered promise. I found a permanent apartment near Green Lake with big windows and a view of cherry blossoms. My new job was demanding but fulfilling. For the first time, I was applying risk analysis to my own life, calculating the cost of relationships, measuring the return on emotional investments. I donated most of my Chicago furniture to a women's shelter. The money from the condo went into diversified accounts and a scholarship program for first-generation college students. The Morgan Platt Fund. Elena flew out in April. We sat on my balcony wrapped in blankets, watching the sunset paint the mountains pink and gold. You seem different, she said. How so? Lighter. Like you finally put something down. I think I did. Any regrets? Sometimes I miss who I thought they were, the family I imagined I had, but I don't miss who they actually were. That makes sense. I used to think home was a place. Then I thought it was people. Now I think, I paused. Maybe home is just the place where nobody's allowed to take pieces of you. She squeezed my hand. You're going to be okay, Morgan. I looked at the mountains, at the sky, at the life spreading out before me. Yeah, I think I am. 6 months later, my phone buzzed. A text from Kelsey, the first direct contact since January. Morgan, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I don't blame you if you delete this. But I wanted you to know. I got a full-time job. Derek and I found an apartment. We moved out of mom and dad's last month. I'm not asking for anything. I've been thinking a lot about everything. I'm not ready to say more than that, but I'm trying. I wanted you to know I'm trying. I read it 3 times. No apology, no acknowledgement of what she'd done, just progress. It wasn't enough. Not yet, maybe not ever, but it was something. I didn't reply immediately. I went for a run, let the morning air clear my head. The door I'd closed didn't have to stay locked forever, but I got to choose when and if I opened it again. That night, I typed a response. Thank you for letting me know. 4 words, nothing more. Kelsey replied, okay, and that was it. I set down my phone and looked out at Seattle's skyline, the city lights reflecting off the water like scattered stars. I didn't know what the future held, but for the first time in my life, that future was mine to decide. I've thought a lot about why they did what they did, not to excuse them, but to understand. Kelsey and my mother operated from a belief system so ingrained they couldn't see it. Family means sharing everything, and whoever has more owes it to those who have less. My mother saw herself as a protector, shielding Kelsey from consequences. Kelsey never learned there were any. Then there was me, the overfunctioner, the fixer, the one who kept the peace by sacrificing pieces of myself so small I barely noticed them going. Until one day I looked up and realized I'd given away everything but my name. The thing about being the family ATM is this. The moment you stop dispensing cash, you find out exactly what you were worth to them. If you're listening to this and recognizing yourself, if you're the one who always gives, who never asks, who smooths over every conflict, I want you to hear something. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to love your family and still walk away from them. Setting boundaries isn't cruelty. It's survival. It's also the only way to find out if someone truly loves you or just loves what you provide. Ask yourself, if I stopped giving, would they still call? The answer might break your heart, but it will also set you free. And that's my story. If you stayed until the end, thank you, truly. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had to set boundaries with your family? How did it go? What did you learn? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and check out the similar stories linked in the description below. Take care of yourselves. You deserve it.